What is up, everybody? It is JT Sports, and I'm here with my Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears post game recap. Going to be recapping this game, giving my thoughts on the game, and it was a low scoring game like I expected. Even though I expected the score to be Chicago like 2017, so it was low scoring, but I thought this game would end up being a little bit more points scored in this game. It was mostly a defensive matchup. And the biggest thing is takeaway from this game is this Green Bay Packers defense is improved. And I told a lot of people that this Green Bay Packers defense was going to be very improved going into the season. I mean, they spent a lot of money in free agency, getting guys like Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith and guys like that, drafting a lot of guys up front. So, I mean, I'm not surprised that this Green Bay defense is really improved. I mean, Jair Alexander had a pretty good game as well. The Green Bay secondary had a pretty solid game, man. I mean, Mitch Trubisky, he was 26 of 44 passing, 228 passing yards, threw an interception, that one near the end zone, and got sacked 4 times. Mitch is a predictable QB. But I mean, the game induct. I mean, like what you wanted to do out of Mitch Trubisky? I mean, Chicago didn't really have a lot of success running the football. I mean, this guy had to throw the ball 44 times, and I mean, it's a little. I don't think you can call him predictable. I mean, you just got to call the offense predictable because Mitch Trubisky dropped back to through 44 times, man. That's not a recipe for winning football when you have a quarterback like Mitch Trubisky. Chicago definitely should have gotten the run game going in this game, and they were unable to do that. And Green Bay was also unable to really get the run game going as well. I mean, Aaron Jones was their leading rusher. He had 13 carries for 39 rushing yards, and they only had 49 rushing yards together as a team combined. So, I mean, this really wasn't a game to be running the football. But, I mean, Mitchell Trubisky did really have to step up, man. It was a lot of throws that he missed. Like, I think it was like the second quarter, he spun out of a sack, and he had Allen Robinson wide open on the sidelines, waving his hands like this. And Mitchell Trubisky just went ahead and walked out of bounds instead of throwing the ball to Allen Robinson. So, Mitch Trubisky wasn't his best game, wasn't one of his best performances. But, I mean, this Chicago Bears offensive line let him get sacked 4 times. I told a lot of people that this Green Bay defense going into this game, that Green Bay was going to be very good on the defense side of the ball this year. They spent a lot of money in free agency trying to improve the defense. I mean, you got Amos there who had a nice game as well. You also got Jared Alexander there as well. You got Zazarius and Preston Smith there. So, I mean, this Green Bay Packers team was very improved, man. And I chose Chicago to get the win. I wasn't really surprised that Green Bay walked out with the win, but I just wasn't expecting Chicago's offense to be this stagnant, to be honest. I thought they would score a lot more points in this game than what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting Green Bay's defense to hold them just to 3 points or something like that. So, I think overall this was a pretty nice game. And I mean, Aaron Rodgers, man, looked very good. I mean, first quarter he started out a little bit cold, but in the second quarter he really picked it up. I mean, this guy finished the game off 18 of 30 passing, 203 passing yards, 1 touchdown, got sacked 5 times. Eddie Pinero's the best player on the team. Why? Because he's the only player who actually scored. I mean, you want to be saying that until he hits the double doink. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I was really surprised that Chicago only put up 3 points. I knew this Green Bay defense was going to be solid, but I wasn't expecting them to be this good. And Mitch Trubisky also did miss a couple of throws as well. But this Green Bay defense looked very impressive. Now, the thing about it is, I really wanted Green Bay to run the ball a lot more. Not just because I had Aaron Jones on my fantasy football team. He only put up 3.9 points. But I was expecting a little bit more out of the Green Bay Packers rushing attack. Although this is a very stout Chicago's Bears defense, so I'm not really going to put too much stock into that. Good thing is they didn't play any players from these teams fantasy-wise. Yeah, it's crazy, man. The only player I started was Aaron Jones. Why can't I cheer for a real team? I mean, Chicago Bears weren't bad. I mean, it's just that this Green Bay Packers defense was really good tonight, and Mitch Trubisky just wasn't on his A game. So it just goes to show you that Mitch Trubisky is still inconsistent. Trubisky don't got too many weapons, to be fair, though. Yeah, the wide receiving core can be a little bit better, but I mean, Mitch Trubisky did miss Allen Robinson a couple of plays, so he still had a chance. Yeah, they still did. He did throw that interception in the back of the end zone as well, so that also hurt him as well. So I mean, overall, this was a pretty impressive game on both sides of the ball. I was pretty on both teams looked a little bit impressive to me. I mean, Mitch Trubisky, I mean, he was 26 of 44 passing, so he almost passed the ball almost 50 times. So I mean, you're not really going to win a lot of games where you got Mr. Trubisky throwing the ball over 40 times a game. So you got Mr. Trubisky, he's still a little bit inconsistent. He's not quite there yet in terms of asking him to carry a game. So you really need that rushing attack to get going. That rushing attack didn't really do a lot. David Montgomery had a couple of nice plays during the passing game. I was really impressed. I didn't even think he was that good catching the ball that much. So I wasn't really paying that much attention and before this game of what he was able to do catching the football, but he was a pretty good passer. So I mean, for the most part, man, this was a defensive battle. I wasn't expecting this game to end up being a defensive slugfest or anything like that. I expected this game to be a little bit more high scoring. I had Green Bay losing this game to the Bears 17-20, but the Bears ended up losing this game. And a lot of people chose the Chicago Bears to win this game. But I mean, overall, I think both teams are going to end up looking very good. I think both of these teams can end up going to the playoffs and end up competing for the division. But so far, man, Green Bay looks very solid on the defensive side of the ball, man. The offense didn't look anything too crazy, but I mean, from the wide receiver position, Scantling was very impressive, man. And Vontae Adams had a pretty nice game as well, although he didn't have a crazy game. But I mean, when you look at how stacked the Chicago Bears defense is, I mean, I think they had a pretty solid performance, this wide receiving group. So this was a very good game, man, for both teams, man. Although Chicago only scored 3 points, they still look like they're going to pick off where they left off at last season on the defensive side of the ball. Although they lost their former defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, who is now the defensive or the head coach for the Denver Broncos. But Chuck Pagano dialed up a couple of blitzes that got there. So the Chicago Bears defense is still going to be very good. It's definitely going to be just as good as what it was last season, despite losing Vic Fangio. Chuck Pagano looks like he's going to be a very good defensive coordinator there for the Chicago Bears. So, I mean, it's a lot of good takeaways, a lot of bad. Green Bay wasn't able to run the football like how they would like. And I mean, I think that's going to improve. I mean, it's a tough task asking any offensive line to block against this scary defense that is the Chicago Bears. I mean, they got great players all around the board on this defense for the Chicago Bears. So it's a tough task asking to move these guys backwards and whatnot. But overall, this was a very good game for both teams, man. I was very impressed. Even though Chicago ain't have the best night offensively, I was still impressed with what I saw out of David Montgomery. He was very good catching the ball. I wasn't expecting this out of David Montgomery. I didn't think he was going to be this good as a pass catcher when he was coming out of college initially. So I think this was a very good game, man. A very good game. What's your thoughts on the game, man? We also got a nice slate of games this coming week. Sunday kicking off this season, week 1. So, I mean, I think both of these teams played okay, man, on the defense side of the ball. Offensively, Green Bay, they run the football. I really want to see a little bit more out of Green Bay, but this is a great Chicago Bears defense, so I'm not really too disappointed. The Chicago Bears, I am a little bit disappointed in. Despite how good Green Bay's defense looked, I still expected Chicago to put up a couple of more points than what they did on the scoreboard tonight, man. So just a little bit disappointed in that aspect of the game, man. But I think both of these teams are going to end up being very good this coming season. Green Bay definitely looks like they're going to prove a lot of people wrong, because a lot of people, including myself, thought they were going to end up losing this game. I think Green Bay is a playoff team, but a lot of people, Al Michaels sucks, dog. Why do people... Al Michaels is the GOAT, man. Al Michaels is the GOAT. Maybe that Jordan Howard trade was a bigger deal than they thought. I mean, but at the end of the day, though, like, Jordan Howard didn't really quite fit well in what Matt Nagy was trying to do on the offensive side of the ball. So I can see why they traded him. And they got David Montgomery. Jordan Howard isn't that good of a pass catcher as of the rest of the Chicago Bears halfbacks. So I think that's why they wanted to go ahead and get rid of Jordan Howard. And Jordan Howard might not even start for Philadelphia. I think Miles Sanders is probably going to end up starting for Philadelphia week 1. I wouldn't be surprised that ended up happening. So, I mean, I think both of these teams look very good. Despite Chicago didn't really do that much on offense, I'm just going to say that Green Bay's defense was very good. I mean, Mr. Trubisky threw the ball 44 times. So, I mean, you're not going to win a lot of football games when you got Mr. Trubisky back there throwing the ball 44 times. I don't care how improved he is. he's still not there quite yet as a passer to be throwing the ball, asking him to win the game like that. So you still need to have a good game plan, a good run game, and able to win Mitch Trubisky. But Green Bay's defense, man, I've been telling people all off season, Green Bay's defense, don't sleep on Green Bay's defense, man. So a lot of people in this NFC North division, it's going to be tough, man. You got Minnesota, you got Detroit, who I think is going to be fairly competitive as well this season. So I think this defense is pretty much up for grabs for any team, man. A lot of teams in this NFC North division look like they can go ahead and win it. Bears defensive line played great, secondary not so much, but it's Rodgers, they're improved though. Yeah, man. I mean, it was a solid performance on the Bears defense, man. They had 5 sacks on Aaron Rodgers, so anytime you're able to get Aaron Rodgers down the ground 5 times, I think that's a pretty good performance. But yeah, man. So after this game, do you guys think Green Bay ends up being a playoff team? Because a lot of Lions fans think that Green Bay is overrated and they don't think they're a playoff team. They think they're going to implode. But Green Bay looked fairly good tonight, man, against a very talented Chicago Bears defense. And I mean, this is probably the best defense that the Green Bay Packers might face all season. Now we're going to see if Chicago's going to be able to bounce back when they play Green Bay a second time. Next game is going to be at Lambeau Field. So it's going to be interesting. With Aaron Rodgers as your QB, you can't rule them out until they're out. Yeah, man, that's what I was trying to tell Detroit Lions fans, man. But let Detroit Lions fans tell you, Green Bay's going to implode. According to them, the media has them overhyped. But, I mean, Green Bay, man, they look like a playoff team. I'm still going to stand by what I say. I still think the Green Bay Packers are a playoff team. I think the Lions are going to be fairly competitive. Can the Lions win the division? Yes, I can. Yes, I do think they can. Any team can really win a division. Like we saw tonight, most of the people coming into the season thought it was going to be between Green Bay and Chicago, and a lot of people thought it was Chicago's division to lose. But like we saw tonight, man, Chicago, they still have some ways to go on the offensive side of the ball as far as Mitch Trubisky's development. So me personally, I don't know. Division is up for grabs. Yeah, anybody can win. I really like Minnesota. Minnesota, probably, in my opinion, is the most talented team in this division. When you look at the star power that they have on the roster, I mean, you got Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen. So, yeah, man, this is a very tough division, man. And Detroit, they got a very nasty front seven with Mike Daniels up there, man. So, I mean, anybody can really win this division, man. But this is it for my post-game recap and analysis of the Green Bay Packers and Chicago Bears game. Let me know how you guys feel about this game down in the comment section down below. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And thanks for watching.